I was the nanny for a Wall Street family during the 2008 crash. What I witnessed still haunts me. I was hired as a live-in nanny for the Harrington family in January 2008. James was a senior executive at Lehman Brothers. Victoria was on the board of 3 luxury brands. Their twins, Olivia and Alexander, were just 4 when I moved into the staff quarters of their Upper East Side penthouse. The first day, Victoria handed me a 27-page manual on the children's routines, including instructions for which organic vegetables could touch on their plates, carrots and peas, never, and which classical composers to play during homework time, Bach for math, Mozart for reading. My salary was more than my parents combined made in Ohio. In August, something shifted. James started coming home at 3 a.m., reeking of alcohol. Victoria canceled her charity galas. They whispered behind closed doors while I pretended not to notice the tension. The 15th of September, I'll never forget it. James didn't come home at all. Victoria locked herself in their bedroom. CNN blared the news. Lehman Brothers had collapsed. I kept the twins distracted with cookie baking while their world silently crumbled around them. The next morning, James arrived looking like a ghost. His eyes were hollow as he kissed the children's foreheads. That afternoon, their private preschool called, minus the Harringtons' automatic payment had been declined. Within a week, strange men in suits were constantly at the apartment. I overheard phrases like margin call and liquidation. The household staff dropped from 11 people to just me. I found Victoria in the twins' closet one night, frantically photographing their designer clothes with shaking hands. For the insurance, she whispered, though I didn't understand what she meant until later, when those same clothes mysteriously disappeared during their move. The twins sensed something was wrong but couldn't comprehend what. His daddy sick? Alexander asked after James screamed at Victoria about their vanishing art collection. I hugged him and lied that everything was fine. In October, James told me they couldn't make payroll but begged me to stay. The children need stability, he said, eyes desperate. I agreed to work for room and board until they got back on their feet. 2 weeks later, Victoria's mother's Cartier bracelet disappeared from the safe. Victoria blamed the weekly cleaner, who was immediately fired. That night, I saw Victoria wearing the same bracelet at dinner. By November, they'd downsized to a brownstone half the size. Their friends stopped calling. The invitations stopped coming. Their Christmas cards that year were store-bought instead of the usual custom photographed ones. The most haunting moment came in December. I found Alexander sobbing in his new smaller bedroom. Santa won't find us here, he cried. We've been bad. That same evening, James came home with a shopping bag from FAO Schwartz. For the kids, he said, setting it down. Victoria exploded. We just lost everything and you are buying toys, she screamed. They're children, he roared back. They deserve one normal Christmas. Victoria grabbed the bag and hurled it across the room. Normal? You think anything will ever be normal again? My friends won't even have lunch with me anymore? James fell to his knees right there in the hallway. His body shook with silent sobs while Victoria just watched her face completely empty. I left 3 months later when they moved to James' parents' house in Connecticut. Victoria kissed my cheek goodbye without emotion. James handed me my final paycheck, minus significantly less than promised, but I didn't argue. 10 years later, I ran into Victoria at a department store. She was working as a sales associate in designer handbags. She pretended not to recognize me. The twins would be in college now. I still wonder if they remember the year their parents learned money couldn't buy the things that actually mattered, minus like dignity, trust, or each other. Sometimes I check Alexander's Instagram. He posts quotes about minimalism and the emptiness of materialism. I think he remembers more than his parents realize.